We started AIYO back in I think April 2010. We first launched the first version in August 2010. Initially, it was started because we think that it'd be really cool to experiment and do a magazine that came alive on the iPad. So that's what AIYO was. It's a magazine that's alive. But then when we launched it, we were quite surprised. The feedback was encouraging. We were one of the first iPad-only publication in the world at that time, featured by Guardian UK, Times UK, and we had a lot of traction worldwide. But then because some reason we decided to put a hold on the development, and we only started to redevelop AIYO late last year. And Alhamdulillah, so far it's been a good journey. Our customer base has been increasing, and we have had customers on the platform that has been monetizing quite well. So we are quite excited with the development in the tablet publishing space right now. We don't just have, let's say, publishers. People use AIYO for various reasons. Hotel, restaurants use it as a menu system. Local council use it to distribute bulletin. Publishers use it to distribute magazines and books. And overall, we have about 50 customers right now. And most of them are in Singapore, Vietnam, and other part of the world. And we actually just started to promote the service in Malaysia just very recently. How it helped them is the base of AIYO is a PDF document, and what's unique about PDF is a standard document that's used by publisher before they send it for printing. So just using a PDF as a base, a publisher could just upload the PDF to the AIYO service, add interactivity, and then within, let's say, if they are really good, some of our publisher took less than a day to turn their print copy into digital with interactivity and push it to App Store within a day. Security wise, we hosted it on a cloud server, quite well-known cloud server provider. We did take all the as a software development house, we've learned the best way of developing the methodologies of building the best secure software. We did that. We tried our best to secure all that, and also what we call the softwares. The content that's uploaded to AIYO. We subscribe to all kind of managed services to make the server and codes much more secure. That's very interesting because we started off as a company that does software for other people, banks, GLCs, MNCs. So we are quite used to building something according to a specs. So what's interesting, when we build our own product, we try to be very agile. We build something, and then one new feature, we just add it up. But the problem building your own product is you don't have the discipline that you have when you work with a client. Because when you work with a client, if you didn't finish it at a certain time, you'll get into trouble. But with your own product, you're just so passionate with it, sometimes you lose track. So that's the biggest challenges for us. Changing the mindset from a service company that builds software based on a spec to building the best software that we can actually build. That remain ours. Through AIYO, we offer a subscription of about $99 a month, and this will enable them to have a presence on the Apple Newsstand or Apple App Store as a newsstand app, or as an application you could call their own. When we first started a few years ago with the very first version of AIYO 2010, we did have customers that used it. We priced it at about $999 a month, because at that time only the biggest of companies with the biggest cash in the bank could afford it, because it's more of an ego show at that time. I have an app, right? But these days it's all about, I say, the business model behind the app. And the best thing about pricing at $99, if you are quite smart about your user acquisition, you could actually spend money and you could easily monetize, because the market, the interesting thing about the market this year is the App Store has become quite mature. There's a lot more user base, and people are a lot more used to paying content, even a Malaysian-based user. Before this, magazines and content, people consume it via the mama store or the traditional newsstand. Right now it's through a digital newsstand or through the web. But there are some niche content. I think the key to making money through digital publication right now. For a smaller time setup, it has to be via targeting a niche audience, and if your content appeal to a niche audience, you could just monetize by targeting this niche audience, because the business model has changed from selling an app at $2 per issue to just making it subscription based. So it makes user acquisition easier for the content owner, the operator, and so they could justify the investment that they make going into the digital publishing space. So when we first launched AIYO, it was meant for international market because we want it to be a product which is not high touch, meaning that we don't have to service the customer and all that. Meaning that we just focus on building the best software. They could use the software to building their dream application. So that's how we meant it. Because when you're based out of Malaysia, when you sell a software to another Malaysian company, it's a bit more high touch. So when we sell it to the customer here, it's easier to sell because the software is already, all the bugs and kinks already been fixed. So the local user gets the best out of the software.